Okay. All right, so this next session is a little bit talks about setting up a business. So what we really want to try to achieve here is the idea of a bit of an idea of what an ideal scene. And a lot of it is sort of, why do you go into business? What's the reason you go into business? The idea of an ideal scene, I'm going to go through and explain what that is and why it's important to have one when you're in business, when you're kicking off into business, having some real clarity about what it's all about, why you're in business, having this clarity around it, having it documented. So some of the key steps in establishing a business, some options around that. Financial stability, really important. This is a system that we teach all licensees. We use it extensively in business. This is how we manage our cash in business. So there's a particular methodology. Roles and functions within your business, and really planning for success, setting goals, setting some targets. So we're just going to go through the whole idea of the process of setting up a business. Okay, the ideal scene. The ideal scene is an idea of, there's a whole methodology around this called the administration scale, the admin scale. And it's really about having real clarity about why you are in business. And what this means is, if you don't really know what you're trying to achieve, what that success looks like, you never really know whether you're there or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And when you look at an ideal scene, it is actually a scene. It's actually sort of your presence somewhere. You like going forward. So if you got to where you said you were going to go, what would it look like? What would it actually look like? And it takes a bit of, this is a process you can do personally. We have this process, like the way it generally works is you do this individually. So I've done it, my wife did her own. We do our own separate admin scales about what we want to do, what we want to achieve. We sit down, we go, oh yeah, and then they're our personal, and then we look at the business, and of course, the business has to line up. There's not much point. If you've sort of got a business ideal scene that doesn't look anything like, or lines up, or supports your personal ideal scene, then it's just not going to work. And we all know people are in business and go, well, what do you like in business? Oh, not really, you might do financial stuff, but it doesn't really fit from this point of view, or it's in an industry that doesn't fit with my value sets, and all sorts of stuff, So it's a really powerful tool that needs some thinking at the beginning, really at a beginning process. And at the end of this process, what we'll do is I just want you to, I'm going to ask you to write up an ideal scene. Just pull a notebook out. But I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. So if you look at ResiCert's admin scale, we obviously have, the administration scale is an interesting thing. So it's basically 10 components. This is how the admin scale works. And it sort of layers a bit like this, So if I show you what this looks like. So obviously, it's a bit like goals, If you've got goals, no matter how big or small, you have to have some goals, purposes, and you have to have activities, and they all need to line up. Does that make sense? They need to be aligned. So to really have impact in whatever you do, there needs to be an alignment. But how do you know if you have an alignment if you don't have it written down? How can you set your sail if you don't even have an idea as to what alignment looks like? So before you can even determine if something's aligned, you need to have an idea. You need to question it. So it's not something that just happens, is it? You've got to go through. There's a process. You've got to put some thought into it. It's got to be really true for you. This is actually what I'm trying to achieve. It's got to be very clear. And then you can work towards it. But the problem is, if you heard that, I've been climbing up the wrong ladder. I've been climbing up the ladder, but it's been leaning against the wrong wall. Have you heard that expression? It's just like you do, and then someone gets it and goes, I don't know what that was about. So it's a really tragic thing to happen when you go into business. So you don't create this scene for yourself. It's very, very powerful. So there's a whole bunch of, these are the different components to it. So goals, and it's all sort of layered. And what it does is, it's a really interesting thing. There's this idea, there's three aspects to it, right? So when you look at the concept of an admin scale, there's three things to consider. It's a D, do, have. So be, do, have. So the first thing is, you need to have, there's a beingness. You have to be something. Your business has to be something. It has to look like something. And when you look at it, goals, purpose, policy describes a beingness. So, when you look at a goal, it's about, it's always that vision stuff. What are you trying to achieve? Yeah? If you look at your purpose, that's actually about a beingness as well. It's about being someone who has this purpose. And the policy consists of rules or guidelines which you're not going to change. These are your personal policies about what you're prepared to do, what you're not prepared to do, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And if you do this, and these three items line up, you have a beingness. It means this is what I want to be. It's an image of what your business needs to be like. You can see how you can do this individually, but obviously your business has to have this beingness. Yeah. Of course, it's great being something, but you've got to do it, don't you? So then the next phase of it, which is a plan, program, projects, and orders, these things are scaled. So once you know what your goal, your purpose, and your policies are, it provides a framework for you to come up with some plans. And then you break those plans down into projects into programs, which are higher, programs into projects, and projects into orders. So it's tiered. So this is the do bit. Yeah. So when you think about the idea of, when people look at, someone says, oh, I want to be a successful business owner, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be, everyone talks about the beingness. Or often what people talk about is what I want to have. Yeah? What do you want to have? I want to have a nice car, I want to make money, I want to have this, I want to have that. In order to have something, you have to be something, and you have to do something. Makes sense, doesn't it? And what often doesn't happen is that there's no alignment across these 10 points. Of course, then, the reason, how do you know if you're going to get there? Then at the end, you've got this scene, ideal scene, you've got stats, you've got products. This is basically what you want to have. That's what you want. That's how you know. So your scene is something you want to have. So if you do stuff, you achieve this beingness and you end up with this result. Does it make sense? Be, do, have. Yeah. So for example, if I show you the ResiCert admin scale, this is, I'll zoom it up a bit. I'm not going to, it's actually, we've had, so this is a 2012. This is updated all the time. I've got 70 versions of this. I've had this for 5 years. So goals. Lifestyle opportunity providers in the property services and inspection industry. It's not a bad goal, is it? That's what we're here about. The most efficient and profitable building inspection services with an established network of professional business owners and inspectors laying the introduction of services. Creators of the ideal business. What a great goal, isn't it? So my goal is to be a creator of an ideal business and help people build the ideal business. Cool. So that's our goals. So it's very clear, isn't it? That's what we do. So when we look at that, and it says we assist this by helping people achieve a high quality of life for themselves, those around them, through having greater cause and control over their lives. This delivers to people their ideal scene and a better lifestyle. That's the ultimate mission. It's not about making people building inspectors or this or that. This is actually our goal. This is what we're all about. We accomplish this by educating, engaging, training, supporting them, which which may include building and operating a profitable and sustainable building inspection and service business under licence as a contractor. Contractors or staff, we still have this mission for contractors and staff. It's exactly the same. So you've got these goals, then you've got this purpose. So then this is sort of the next level down. So that's the goal. Purpose: to build, utilise and continually develop procedures and systems, processes to increase the speed and efficiency of all the We can measure all this stuff, can't we? To develop a business and license model which is broadly promoted to attract and engage people to operate this business model and license successfully. And to develop, broadly market and deliver a diverse range of inspection and related products and services to the public. So that's our purpose. So in order to achieve those goals, these are the things that we have to, that's our purpose, that's our focus. But of course, it's not at all costs. There's certain things that we're prepared to do and we're not prepared to do. And so you need to have some policy around it. So these are policies that you can't change. No office, paperless. That's a policy. So when someone goes, oh, I should get an office, I go, but sorry, it's a policy, no office. Wherever we can roll out services, I'd rather drive it through existing network. So the licensees, if licensees can do it, well then can they make more money from it using the existing network? We use a Hubbard management system. You know, I've talked about that. That's a policy. We use that as our management system. For staff, licensees, contractors, remuneration will be based on production with incentives. So it's all about incentive and rewarding people for higher production. That's how it should work. Business growth will be funded with capital, no debt. Don't believe in using debt in business. Expansion in a new location, like capital for it. Cash reserves will be built up to ensure there's 12 times monthly fixed cost base. Statistics will be used as a key tool. Can you see how these are real, you know, guidelines that if something pops up, we go, no, we don't do that. And you don't have to get into a discussion around it. It's very clear. And this is our policy. These might not be your policy, but you have to determine what's acceptable to you and what's not. So these are your these are your not negotiables in the way that you. So from a personal point of view, I've got certain things that, you know, for me, I can't go into a business that involves, you know, I don't like chemicals, unsustainable practice stuff. You know, I just can't do that. You know, someone who works at a cigarette company, I was just like, doesn't hit it. Like, I just can't do it, or would never do it. So for me, that's something I go, no. So there's certain things that I think are important. You know, all actions contribute to the growth of the client database. We attempt to automate. We outsource stuff. You know, let's get people in. We recruit and attract top talent for key roles. People who have a burning desire to join. So always looking for the best people. That's a policy that we're trying to find. For all player stakeholders, there must be equal and unbalanced exchange for success and failure. Unethical behaviour. We don't tolerate unethical behaviour. Unethical. You know, there's a real question. People say, what's unethical? People know what's unethical. People know that. And so we're really big on this. We've actually got a system for this. Dan had to have a bit of a cat. Something's going on. You know, we just zoom in on that straight away. We go, that's a problem. We just don't. If you've got an issue, let's talk about it. If we track anyone or someone's for us to them, but across the business, ethics is really big about how we operate. But it's got to be documented as a plan, as a policy. Yeah? So we've got lots of operational policies and this and that. But these are sort of the guiding policies about how we function and we operate. Yeah. Sort of like our values and what's important. So then, of course, you know, we've got these. So this is beingness. Does that give you a sense of who we really want to be as a business? Yeah, it gives you a bit of a picture, doesn't it? You go, oh, okay, I sort of get that. Of course, then we've got to do some stuff. So then we've got all these plans, not many. You know, first plan is get our revenue up in all these locations. So we set some targets. Second plan is selling building inspection, pest inspection services to a certain level. So we have a bit of a plan. You know, roll out pest inspection services. Yep, that's done now. We've done that. There's a bit of a plan. Retrospective approval services, which we've rolled out. Research, investigate additional property services, systems, processes and procedures. Fully implement the Hubbard management system. We've done all of these things. We've actually been done now. So this is 2012. You know, then these programs, this is all through our business. So we use a system called Basecamp, where we have all these projects, programs. So then the next layer of it's really documented. Yeah. But people in the business understand that why we're doing this. And it's a real, you know, you could go back and go, wow, yep, it's pretty cool. You can tick it, done that, tick it, done that. And it's a live thing. This thing changes all the time. Yep. So then we have an ideal scene. So after this, I'm going to get you guys to actually have a bit of a play with this. So this is talking about it, and I'll give you a context. With an ideal scene, it's really easy sometimes to, see what's not right, but it's very hard to see what's missing. Yep. So I'll give you an example. If I said a nightclub, nightclub. Let's say you've never seen a nightclub before. It's really hard, isn't it? You go, oh, I don't know. If you've got some understanding about a nightclub, you walk into a nightclub, and let's say there's a cot. You look at it and go, it's a bit odd, isn't it? Does that fit in this scene? You'd straight away, you'd go, it's so easy to go, what the hell's that doing there? Why have you got a baby's cot? Oh, someone might bring their kid and put them to sleep in here. You go, I don't know, I think you're missing something here. I don't think that's right. But it's harder to work out what's missing. So let's say there's no mirror ball. You might go, it's harder in anything to determine what's missing. It's much easier to see what doesn't fit. So what you need to, as part of a process, is if you've got a scene which you really think it through, it's easier to determine if something's right or not right. And it's called an out point. It's something in a business context for us. Is there an out point? Is there something that really doesn't fit? So, for example, when you talk about this like it's being done, we're Australia's largest and most well-known property, pest and building pest inspection and service company. You know, we have paper-free business. We have a paper-free business. We're the largest. I think we are the largest now. So we achieved that. We're always looking for better ways to leverage technology. We're recognised as a premium brand. We only have people doing things that cannot be automated. Our property inspectors fully trained professional business sales. We have no physical locations. We're able to. So you know, if you read that, you know, if someone says come to us and says, oh, you know, let's do budget inspections. No, because we're a premium brand. No, that's not part of our scene. We're not a budget company. That's someone else. We're a premium brand company. So I don't get any confusion about strategies and stuff. So this is ideal scene. You know, we fully implemented the Hubbard management system. Tick. We prefer to engage businesses and groups to carry functions rather than employ people. You know, Yvette Tracy, Remarkable Marketing, this is part of our scene. We prefer to engage professional people who are good at what they do rather than employ people who do it. How do we get the same expertise? so this isn't an accidental process. This is part of our scene, you know, and then we grow and we prosper together. It's not random activity. We have a team that's had it up on the use of statistics. We have an ever-growing client and customer network. You know, we've got 34,000 people in a database that we've built up over the years. Business model that allows us to always over-deliver at abundance. Yep, you can do that. We attract the highest caliber licensees who apply our business systems to build extremely successful businesses. It's not an accident, you know. So if that's what we're going to do, we have to build a whole process to do that. You know, how do you do this sort of stuff? You know, we're always at the forefront of sustainability. I'm really passionate about sustainability. So that's going to be another something we're going to do. Business expansion is always proceeded with capital. We operate with lots of small, innovative and autonomous groups. So these are, does it give you a bit of an idea?
Yeah.
You know, we're built up and operate with substantial cash reserves. We're nimble, fast and unpredictable. We want to be fast, unpredictable. You know, my biggest fear is being slow and predictable. It's just like, you know, if you look at my calendar, someone goes, oh, let's go out for dinner, and 3 months ago, you know, we've got to put something on my calendar 3 months ahead. I go, oh, I don't know. It actually freaks me. I can't do anything. It's a real disorder. I can't do anything on a regular basis. I have it every Tuesday. We catch up and do that. I go, oh. Well, let's just go for next Tuesday and see how we go. I just can't do that. I just don't like any form of routine at all. It just drives me nuts. You know? So, oh, why don't you do this course? I go, does it always the same time every week? I go, oh, God, I don't know how I'm going to cover that yet. We get enough sleep when we need it. You know, we have fun. You know, it's sort of like this is our scene. The business has established and ongoing at least 4 non-related sources of income. Very important. It's a strategy to have non-related sources of income. It's a risk contingent process, you know. We have the highest average inspection fee in the industry and are constantly able to increase the average. You know, so when someone comes to me and goes, oh, let's discount. No, I'm not into discounting. But that's how everyone, whoever goes to business, the first thing everyone wants to do is discount because it's easy. It's like, you know, because it's just, to me, it's just like, you know, it's, who can discount to sell the inspector? Everyone. It's not a winning strategy, you know. But you can see that it's so important to us that this is our scene. And I can tick off on most of those things. But it doesn't mean we're done. We're still doing them, we're still doing them, we're still doing them. Yeah. But this is 4 years old. This is 4 years old. This has been a guiding framework for us. Yeah. And of course then we've got all the statistics, and you've seen that. It ties into the all board because you have your statistics, your products, it all dovetails in. So it's a bit of an art lining this thing up. There's a book called Speaking from Experience. Yeah. If you want to know and get your head around this admin scale, just buy it. You can buy it online. Speaking from Experience. Dan, can you just look up the author? Speaking from Experience. You can just order it, and it's a great book because it explains the admin scale perfectly. It has cartoon. It's like you're in a training course. It has cartoon characters and it explains to you. It breaks it all down. Explains a lot of the terms I've mentioned to you. Products and stats and yada 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 and hats, it's in there. But its core focus is on the admin scale. Okay? So I really recommend getting hold of that book. It's a good book. Yeah. So what I want you to do now is a little bit of an exercise, and maybe I just want you to just write an ideal scene for your business. Okay? Just the ideal scene bit. Don't worry about the bit. Sorry?
It's Hubbard's book.
Hubbard, no, it's not Hubbard. No, he didn't write it. It's from, there's a couple other people who've written it. It says based on Hubbard's work, but it's not Hubbard. He didn't produce it. So just think about an ideal scene, and then I just want you guys to share it. So have a think about your business. Yeah, think about it as a business ideal scene, and think about it. Say, well, you might go 3 years ahead. If you're standing there and going, what would that look like? What would a day look like? What would it be around you? How would that look? So just have a go. We're going to spend, say, 10 minutes.